from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Your source for the Department of Energy's environmental cleanup news. Energycast starts now.
Hi everyone, I'm Summer Dash. Welcome to your January episode of Energycast. Happy New Year! We are so glad you are spending part of it with us. Let's go ahead and get started with some Energy Bites.
These are really good opportunities, particularly for power. The infrastructure for connecting to the grid means getting good at repurposing sites that have been used for old infrastructure is a valuable skill set, and being able to take advantage of that can be a great advantage.
We're hearing from the CEO of Kairos Power, that's the nuclear energy company behind the Hermes reactor coming to the East Tennessee Technology Park. He was in town for the opening of a new exhibit at the American Museum of Science and Energy. We're going to take a look around that and also find out if Kairos has any more major projects planned for Oak Ridge.
We had a big demo and everything is working. Now, next phase is how to make a deployable system.
They're here! The robots have arrived. Researchers over at Oak Ridge National Lab have been preparing for their arrival for months. We're going to show you what they do and how teams across the country had a hand in putting them to use.
I'm like, seriously? Yeah, and he says, seriously? And I said, oh, you're kidding, man. I said, I waited like 35 years for this.
Following up with an incredible talent here in Oak Ridge, and not for the skills you might think. She's a globally recognized weightlifter, and she's preparing for a major competition. We'll take a look at what's next for JoJo Brasso. As we head into the new year, we are getting an update from our top leader here at the Oak Ridge Office of Environmental Management. We're taking a look at upcoming projects, goals for 2024, and how they all tie back to our mission. Here's Energycast's Sierra Hellemans reporting.
2023 was no standard year for OREM.
In 23, I think we've kind of hit it out of the park.
OREM Manager Jay Mullis says his federal team achieved all 14 priorities he set for the organization. Those included tearing down the low-intensity test reactor, preparing nearly a dozen buildings for demolition, beginning early fieldwork for the new disposal facility, and advancing construction on the Mercury treatment facility. And employees did all of that during a time that can be especially difficult to make progress.
Usually during the year when you do contract transition, you don't get a lot of other work accomplished. And so to be able to not only make the transition, get the work on contract, and hit all your major performance milestones that were being tracked at, outside of Oak Ridge, pretty big deals.
Going into 2024, one of Mullis's top goals is completing cleanup at ETTP.
Getting to the groundwater decisions with the regulators and getting soil remediation cleaned up at ETTP will allow us to really move over and focus completely on OREM and Y12.
This year will also see demolition begin on the Alpha 2 facility. That marks the first teardown of a former uranium enrichment building at Y12. Another OREM milestone is making progress on the environmental management disposal facility.
We're about a little over 80% full in the existing landfill, and getting that landfill built kind of enables the future cleanup for the next 2 decades.
As they've done in previous years with big expectations,
there's a number of challenges, right, that we need to get focused on and busy with, but this team has shown they can do that.
He says the OREM team will find a way.
All right, Sierra, thank you so much. And you can keep up with the latest local DOE news online at energy.gov/OREM. We also post upcoming events like public information sessions over on our website. And of course, be sure to follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, X, YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We've got a lot more details on the projects OREM Manager Jay Mullis discussed in our conversation with him. Our organization just released its annual Cleanup Progress Report. That document spotlights all the projects crews have either started or completed over the previous year. This is all in an effort to provide taxpayers more information about how their investments are being put to use. Now, if you've watched our episodes in 2023, you know there's a lot to talk about here. The booklet covers everything from demolition projects at ORNL to construction projects at Y12 and the final phases of cleanup kicking off at ETTP. The Cleanup Progress Report is available online on our website under the News tab at energy.gov/OREM. Hard copies are also available at the DOE Information Center. And OREM has just released its annual performance appraisal for contractor United Cleanup Oak Ridge, or UCOR. The company's work was measured in 6 areas from October 2022 through September 2023. Those include quality, management and business relations, regulatory compliance, operations management, schedule, and cost control. You can see an excellent rating in the first 3 elements. UCOR received a good rating in operations management and a very good for schedule and cost control. Those totals netted a score of 90%, equating to $17.4 million in paid fee. UCOR also completed all of its performance-based incentives and milestones over that span, equating to another $11.4 million. The company posted an overall score of 94% for a grand total of $28.8 million in fee. For the full scorecard, go to our website at energy.gov/OREM, then select the Contractors page under About Us. Since our last episode, DOE has tasked UCOR with completing construction of the Mercury treatment facility at Y-12. It's a key piece of infrastructure that allows future cleanup in mercury-contaminated areas there. DOE awarded Aptum Northwind Construction a contract in December 2018 to build that facility. And with that contract expired, DOE has transitioned the remaining construction work to UCOR. The company was already set to commission and operate the facility once it was finished, and this project focuses on a headworks facility and a treatment plant connected by a half-mile pipeline. We will, of course, keep you updated as work moves forward. DOE is starting off 2024 strong by transferring the biggest tract of land to date at the East Tennessee Technology Park. A 365-acre area is going to the Community Reuse Organization of East Tennessee. Now, that area previously housed a large powerhouse complex that provided energy for early enrichment operations at the site. Checking in now with UCOR's Program and Sustainability Manager Kevin Ironside to explain what goes into a reuse effort like this.
This one's really exciting because it's taken us several years to get it transferred. We had some unexpected occurrences during the process. Somebody had to go back and address, slowed it down a little bit, but to see this one culminate, and that's a unique site. It's got wetlands on it. It's going to have some conservation areas. It's going to be used for new industry. It's on the water, almost a mile of waterfront property. So it's a pretty exciting parcel. We'll see what might happen there.
Well, the opening of a new exhibit at the American Museum of Science and Energy brought a slew of industry leaders to Oak Ridge. We were able to spend some time with the CEO of Kairos Power. The Northern California-based company is working to build a reactor at the East Tennessee Technology Park. With this massive investment, of course, comes job opportunities, and now a brand new piece of history featured at a beloved local museum. As AMSI's newest exhibit is unveiled, conversations full of new ideas for Oak Ridge are set to a backdrop committed to preserving its history.
I love that we have an exhibit here.
A fitting place to sit down with the CEO of a company planning to invest more than $100 million to help new energy opportunities flourish here.
Really, the foundation that has made our technology possible was the work done here on the molten salt reactor experiment back in the 1960s.
EM's mission has long been to clean up legacy sites and turn them over for reuse.
And the fact that it was a repurposed site kind of significantly decreased some of the environmental impact, which is a big part of the early review for nuclear projects.
A nationwide search landed Kairos Power here, the former site of the K-33 facility.
We found that brownfield sites are great for reuse, and they had a lot of available data. And so it would allow us to move relatively quickly to understand the site, and things just kind of progressed quickly.
The construction permit was just approved. Before the real thing is put together, a non-nuclear mock-up of the facility will be built.
Getting the confidence in how to construct a facility has been a major challenge for nuclear facilities, and so getting that confidence is going to be an important step. It also will allow us an opportunity to get an understanding of the local building labor and trades.
Work on Hermes is expected to create more than 55 jobs in Tennessee.
There's really a unique talent pool in this area. Their local community is also knowledgeable about nuclear and nuclear technology. That's unusual.
He tells us he is determined to hire people from around here to make it happen, and soon.
For us, it's not just about opportunity, it's really about a need. And for us, if nuclear is going to play an important role in decarbonizing, it really needs to be moving quickly to be ready, and it needs to be able to scale.
That's why he says the company has already submitted a construction permit for a Hermes 2. He wants it ready should they decide to grow the operation in the future.
We've looked at how can we go from Hermes to the next iteration that would be the most valuable thing, and what can we deliver? And so the logical conclusion there is a reactor that's basically the same as Hermes, but producing electricity and at a site that we know is the fastest way for us to progress the technologies.
Their goals and these projects bring the purpose of that land full circle.
I love the historical connection that our technology has to Oak Ridge. There are historical roots and also kind of more current roots, connections to work that was done here.
As new ideas become reality, it's clear those roots will remain. And we are told we should start seeing construction on that site sometime this year. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated on that progress. Meantime, that really cool exhibit is now ready for you to see over at AMSI. The museum is open 7 days a week. They've also got all sorts of awesome resources, including some really cool science videos over on their website. Head on over to amsi.org to see those, plus all the different programs offered through the museum. And from one reactor to another, Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm was also in town. She visited the site of a possible new reactor for the Tennessee Valley Authority. TVA was given an early site permit in 2019 in hopes of building a small modular reactor to help provide power to the overall grid. Construction is expected to begin in 2027. Granholm emphasized the importance of building this reactor as a step toward becoming carbon neutral by 2035 and reaching net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. TVA leaders say eventually they do intend to build multiple. Well, this holiday season, researchers over at Oak Ridge National Lab, they got some robots. For months, teams across the country have been working on different parts, and we've been following their progress here on Energycast. Now, the pieces are coming together and they are ready. Our team got to be there as the first robot got to work.
That is exciting, yeah.
Just a few months ago, Dr. Venu Varma showed us this open space inside a 1960s era building.
The work cell that we are developing for EM will be basically situated right over the plugs.
At the time, we could only imagine what would soon fill it. From this to this, an exciting next step for most of us.
I couldn't basically be euphoric about all these pieces coming. I was worried about, oh, I need to integrate them. Oh, I need to program them. Oh, I have not tested each of these individual tools.
Now that the pieces are here, it is Varma's job to troubleshoot and get them ready to safely deploy. Which is why today he's stressed.
I would rather make sure that I break it right now. And I have already broken something, and I know I need to basically fix it, and we were talking about how to fix it, how to make it better, and I would rather fail right now when everything is open than fail it once it's deployed.
So far, so good. The robots at Oak Ridge National Laboratory are as tangible now as the items they can pick up with their touch-sensitive gloves.
Yeah, no.
Though they have no heartbeat, they are as much a part of this team as the humans operating them.
I do have a robot on the team.
While a person controls the digital twin, the action is executed by the robot.
I'm very excited.
Young-Soo Park has been in town from Argonne National Lab for months. His team made many of the pieces that are here now, which is why today he's excited.
Try to just expand system, put it out there work, and have Venue clean up the mess, right? So we were here, like, let's do this, and then Venue was always, I'm not sure. She was kind of pessimistic.
And these two are as bonded now as the robots they created.
You make a really good team, it sounds like.
Seems, because I didn't have to worry about that part too much. We just do our technology integration part, and he will take care of the difficult part. So, yeah.
a national team effort that will make EM cleanup work safer.
The fact that now we're focusing in ORNL and Y12 and the high-risk facilities is really an endeavor that is meritorious and that it really, at this point in time, requires technologies like this to protect our dear workers.
Teams here will continue to test the technology, but in the future, the hope is to use them in hot cells. Take this radioactive wire, for instance. It was removed from the east cell bank over the summer. Crews had to suit up and fish it out from 25 feet above through an opening atop the hot cell. It took them months just to plan for the big day.
That's exactly what this system's there to do, is to keep it where we can do our job, continue the D&D work, and get the facilities knocked down that we need to so we can continue building here at the Oak Ridge National Lab.
And while Varma continues to feverishly integrate the robots into the workflow, the human connection they bring is real.
I'm super ecstatic, and I love sharing when things like this go well. It's a lot of fun to see the smiles on people's faces.
So while we go back to imagining what's to come,
now we need to take it the hard part, to put it actually to where it can go in the field and be useful in the field.
This team is focused on bringing their high-tech vision to life.
If I deploy it, it has to work.
Which is why today they're all motivated. Now, the next phase of this project will be spent testing that new tool. Once the team is confident it can be implemented in a real hot cell scenario, it will be deployed. We will certainly be closely monitoring that progress.
I've always just believed in taking care of your people. You're not going to get the job done without taking care of the people.
One of Oak Ridge's most beloved leaders is retiring. Jim Bolin, the president of Isotech, is credited with creating both a stellar work environment and delivering on major projects. It's easy to see his career successes, but we're also taking a look at his personal accomplishments. His wife of more than 20 years is joining us for this interview, and she might just steal the show. Find out how the two managed their careers together.
Nervous. Good Lord, I'm nervous, but that's always a good bit, not to be too, overly confident when you go into something like that.
That's our coworker, and she is headed to another competition. How a UCOR employee is getting ready for the next National Weightlifting Championship. Welcome back. Here are the 5 big stories happening across the complex right now. We are bringing you major EM news from coast to coast. At the Savannah River site, continuous improvements and employee input led to $42 million in savings during 2023. More than half of those savings were applied to perform more work at the site. This accomplishment was made possible through an effort that engaged nearly 17% of its workforce with over 180 improvement initiatives. The results were good enough to earn the Transformational and Operational Excellence Award at the South Carolina Manufacturing Conference and Expo. The Idaho National Laboratory is also cutting costs with innovations using drones. EM previously spent about $20,000 a year on crewed aerial flights that collected data on projects. Now, only a single drone pilot is needed to evaluate sites, and projects are speeding up as a result. Crews in Paducah are advancing deactivation work with a pipe-crawling robot. There are about 20 miles of pipes in the C333 building, and some have contaminated deposits that do need to be removed. Now, this bot provides visuals inside the pipes and scans for gamma detection. This innovation makes the inspection process 5 times faster while reducing risks. Also at the Paducah site, met an EM 2023 priority by disposing of more than 1 million pounds of a chemical hazard stored there. Freon was previously used to control temperatures during uranium enrichment operations at the site. Now, more than half of the 8 million pounds stored has been disposed, significantly reducing the environmental impact. EM and the Idaho Environmental Coalition partnered to support education and workforce development in their community through a new We STEAM program. Volunteers are creating demonstrations for young audiences that'll spark interest in science, technology, engineering, art, and math education. The program is also aiding schools through grants that have provided robotics equipment and science experiments for students. We've got multiple leadership changes to report to you. Across the complex, influential people are heading off to the next phase of their careers. Retirement. Arguably the best phase. Now, about a third of the EM workforce is expected to retire in the next 10 years. It's why we put such a focus on recruiting new people to our industry. And it's an industry that simply would not be the same had these next two people not been such a big part. DOE contractor United Cleanup Oak Ridge, or UCOR, has a new site integration and cleanup manager. Larry Breedy takes over after Dan Macias retired at the beginning of the year. Over the past decade, Macias has overseen some of Oak Ridge's largest projects and biggest accomplishments. His 41-year career also includes time with the U.S. Navy and EM's Savannah River site in South Carolina. Breedy, who was the previous ORNL project manager, is set to fill the position. He tells us he is grateful for the experience he's gained from his predecessor.
Well, Dan has been a true servant leader. We're going to miss him tremendously. His leadership, his experience, what he's been able to bring to UCOR and delivering projects for DOE and Oak Ridge has just been tremendous. I'm very excited. I've had the opportunity to work in this group for the last couple of years. Most recently as the cleanup manager at ORNL. And so being able to broaden that aperture to support cleanup for OREM across all three sites is it's very exciting to be able to just work with more of the workforce and help DOE deliver the mission here.
Breedy officially started in that new role on January 5th. And a beloved company president is looking forward to spending some time with his family in retirement. Jim Bolin of Isotech Systems has been with the company for more than a decade. His employees will tell you he is known for building a positive work environment, but the environmental management industry knows him as a leader in cleanup. He says he is most proud of the current ongoing project to extract uranium-233 from Cold War era materials to use in cancer treatment. And while we could speak for hours on Bolin's accomplishments, we got the inside story on all of that from he and his wife.
I would say that on all the different jobs that I've held, the one that I am most proud of and I think has been the best project and job of my career has been at Isotech.
To swap it up, a lot of people that when they retire, you find there's a conflict, they don't know what to do, and it's been a real easy transition for us. So I'm looking forward to it.
The couple already has several cruises planned. Next month, we'll have this full story, and sure, it is a career success story, but it's really the love story behind it that you likely don't know. In the spirit of Valentine's Day, we are getting to know the Bolins and how two incredible careers brought two incredible people together. Find out what a Navy ship, the Blue Angels, and Tennessee have to do with it. That's next month on Energycast. And there are a lot of great careers to be had in Oak Ridge, for new grads to experienced professionals. You can find federal job postings online. Head over to the USA Jobs website to see openings and requirements. See that little box on your screen? Get your cell phone out, scan it with your camera. It'll take you to usajobs.gov. There are all sorts of jobs in different fields open right now. Cops, kids, and contractors, they all came together in Oak Ridge to bring holiday cheer. We'll show you how UCOR supported the Shop with a Hero program.
You keep trying and trying, you can't quite get it, and then when you get it, you're like, oh wow.
An employee here on the Oak Ridge Reservation is preparing for a major competition. We've told you about JoJo Brasso here on Energycast. She's a world record holding weightlifter. Just ahead, we'll take you inside her training and what's next. Welcome back. Cleanup contractor UCOR helped spread some holiday cheer by teaming up with the Oak Ridge Police Department. The mission to make Christmas brighter for local children and their families. UCOR donated $1,500 and employees volunteered through the Shop with a Hero program. Children from local schools were paired with police officers, sheriff's deputies, and firefighters as they shopped for gifts for their family members. The Shop with a Hero program also provided a basket of food for every family. All right, now to an update on one of our most talked about stories from last year. You may remember JoJo Brasso, our coworker, who just happens to hold multiple weightlifting world records. She's back at it and heading to the biggest stage possible. Brasso recently qualified for the Arnold Classic. Energycast's Cameron Jacobs checked in with her to find out what it takes to get to this point and what's ahead.
I'm like, seriously? And he says, seriously. And I said, oh, you're kidding, man. I said, I've waited like 35 years for this.
This is the moment JoJo Brasso has been waiting over 35 years for. Last October, JoJo competed in yet another weightlifting championship.
Took 3 first place and also set 3 world records and also took first place in the strict curl.
Normally competing in what's called a strict curl, JoJo was pushed into trying bench press. Thanks to one of her friends pushing her to try something different, JoJo not only set more world records for her age bracket, she also qualified for the Arnold Classic,
Columbus, Ohio, home of the 2023 Arnold Strongman Classic,
which is the equivalent to making it to the Super Bowl in bodybuilding. JoJo will be competing against women in her age bracket from all over the world.
I'm nervous. Good Lord, I'm nervous, but that's always a good bit not to be too overly confident when you go into something like that.
JoJo will have the opportunity to bench press in 3 different levels, with the weights getting heavier each round. If all 3 attempts are completed successfully, she will have the opportunity to set yet another world record for her 4th lift.
It's something that you've always wanted your entire life, and you keep trying and trying. You can't quite get it, and then when you get it, you're like, oh wow, So it's huge. It is. That's, when you have defining things in your life, I can say honestly that is one thing that's going to be defining pretty much half my life that I've worked up for.
JoJo isn't going to the grandest stage in bodybuilding alone though. Her son, who is hoping to follow in his mom's footsteps, will be right there with her.
Honestly, without him though, there's no way, because he gets everything ready. He makes sure everything that I need at the time, I just got to show up, and he takes care of everything. So he's been just wonderful. He is. He's been great.
For Energycast, I'm Cameron Jacobs.
Cameron, thank you so much. This year's Arnold Classic takes place in late February. JoJo said her goal is to lift 200 pounds at that event. She's really busy training hard for this unbelievable opportunity, and all of us in Oak Ridge, of course, are really rooting for her. JoJo, good luck. The Oppenheimer effect is real, and it is benefiting Oak Ridge. Tourism in the city went up by at least 10% early summer and into fall compared with the numbers from last year. Historian Ray Smith had mentioned he expected an influx of visitors after the blockbuster hit theaters in July. Turns out, according to recent reports, he was right. ANSI and the K-25 History Center felt that impact too. The movie told the story of one of the scientists behind the first atomic bomb. Smith tells us ties to the work on the Oak Ridge Reservation have piqued interest in people of all ages. Next month, we are getting a chance to sit down with Oak Ridge's new city manager, Randy Heeman. We'll learn about his move to East Tennessee and his goals as he begins his tenure. And things are getting hot. Our contractor, Isotech, is moving into the next phase of its processing campaign. We'll detail how they're working to remove a much more radioactive portion of the uranium-233 inventory stored at ORNL. And we have a very big partnership to unveil that we're really excited to share with you. You can expect all of that in February. Hey, thank you so much for joining us for Energycast. New episodes come out on the 3rd Sunday of the month. You can watch on air and online. We post Energycast episodes on our Facebook and YouTube pages the day after they air. Head on over to follow us on our social media accounts. We're always happy to answer questions and share information with you there as well. And remember, if you work in environmental management in Oak Ridge, keep us in mind if you come across a story. We are always looking for news tips and good story ideas from all across the reservation. Email your idea to oakridgeem@orem.doe.gov. Let us know there. You might just see it right here. See you next time.